All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace, love, and salutation to all you occupants pushing this truth, sincerity. And yes, once again, another Uproars of the people. You had Uproars of the people in, Kenya, over the Ebola. All right, you had uproars. You got uproars of the people. What was that country? Poland. All right, over the government. And this time we're switching a little bit more west to Ireland. So you got uproars of the people in Ireland. All right. But first and foremost, I want to get a precept. This is St. Luke 21 and verse 9, straight to the point. In the red letters, the words of Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And it says in Revelation 19, all right, that the Lord is going to come in the spirit of prophecy. All right, and the servant is not greater than his master. So we come in the spirit of prophecy. Meanwhile, you Christians try to come up to our camps trying to get us to accept the so-called virgin birth, which you can break that down. So you can break that down in your sleep. This is what's really going on in the world. All right, and you got a lot of distractions too, but it's all prophetic at the end of the day. All right, those who are meant to get this are going to get it, and those that don't, they don't. Consider the blessing to get these words. All right, get the understanding. Luke 21 and 9. But when you shall hear of wars, there's hella wars out here. You got the war between the United States and Iran still going on. The war in Ukraine almost going on 5 years. It says in commotions, be not terrified, for these things must come first, but the end is not by and by. Let's get this word commotions.
Strong's G 181. Akatastasia. Akatastasia.
Akatastasia says instability, a state of disorder, disturbance, confusion. And that's what you see going on in these countries. Hell, even that last video I did about those Jakes acting disorderly at the game 3 of the Knicks game, hey, that's a state of disorder. But wait until you see, all right, the lack of bread, the lack of fuel, the lack of water. You're really going to see the level of many wax cold in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, all 50 states, even including Hawaii and Alaska. All right. But I wanted to focus on what's going on in Ireland. All right. It says, let me get this from AP News. All right. Fair use. Stabbing suspect appears in court after anti-immigrant protests in Northern Ireland. It says Belfast, Northern Ireland. A 30-year-old man from Sudan appeared in a Belfast court Wednesday charged with attempted murder over a stabbing attack that left a man seriously injured and triggered anti-immigrant violence in several parts of Northern Ireland. Hadi Oladid, age 30, was ordered held in jail after a parent spotted video in Belfast Magistrates Court where a detective said he blinded Stephen Ogilvie in the left eye during the knife attack. He was also charged with possessing a knife and threatened to kill a radiographer while being treated for a hand injury after the assault. When police arrived at the crime scene, they found Al-Odid on the man armed with a kitchen knife. The detective said Al-Odid later told hospital staff, "I've deleted someone. I don't know if they are dead," and said, "I will delete you." He refused legal representation through an Arabic interpreter and did not enter a plea. Police were preparing for more violent protests after masked men set fire to several homes they believed to house immigrants, burned trash bins, torched a Belfast bus, and pelted police with objects. Firefighters rescued several people from burning homes. All right, and what's going on in a lot of these European countries, man? They got these so-called illegal immigrants. All right, no new thing here in the United States, and some of them, they could be Israelites. All right, because we're scattered. But you see in London, one of the so-called reasons why they're doing digital ID in the UK is because of immigration. All right, immigration is a problem, so-called problem, for the so-called white man. All right, because really, man, we're at the end of Esau's age, man. All right, he doesn't have that force like he used to. So, the average Edomite is just fearful what's going on. All right, and it's all prophecy according to 2 Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Continue on, it says, Anselmi Shima, a Belfast resident originally from Congo, said he saw smoke from burning vehicles near his home. I lived on my street for almost 10 years. I have a good relationship with my neighbors, but last night was a horrific one. He said, we don't know what to do. I'm scared seeing this. I'm wondering if I'm next. Families, one with a baby, were rescued and taken to a police station for safety. Police Service of Northern Ireland Chief Constable John Butcher told the BBC, these weren't just families from ethnic minority communities. They were families from across communities that were caught up in this vile behavior last night. Boucher said, there is absolutely no excuse for it. Boucher said 200 more officers will be on the streets on Wednesday, and the PSNI was calling in support for other forces. Bus and train operators in Belfast said they would stop services early because of the expected protests. Okay. So, the love of me so ass cold. Mother of four beaten to death with a brick. That's the brother from Philadelphia. All right. Later on this. All right. Matter of fact, we'll get that in let's just skip this. Go to Matthew 24 and 12. All right, because people are in an uproar. Meanwhile, in the United States, people are in an uproar of a basketball game. All right. You've had clashes here. Last week I did an Uproars of the People video in New Jersey as well over conditions at a ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey. All right, so these things are coming. All right, you're gonna see more uproars of the people, more commotions, and commotions goes to instability, state of disorder. This place is hanging by a thread now. You can still go to work. You still gotta pay bills. You can still get you an adult beverage every now and then, but hey, this place is on the verge of a state of disorder. All right, Jacob's trouble. All right, Jeremiah 30 and 7, Daniel 12 and 1. When Michael's going to stand up for the children of our people, he's going to stand up for the elect. All right, not you hooligans out here that is not paying attention to what's going on, man. So let's get this St. Matthew. But you got people taken to the streets over immigration in Belfast. Matthew 24 and 12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. All right, let's get this word wax cold.
Strong's G 5594. Sucho. Sucho.
All right, sucho. It says metaphor of waning love. All right, you know that word gets psycho. People are going psycho. This guy, all right, in Belfast, Ireland, stabbing people is psycho, man. All right, and here in America, man, it's worse. All right, this is the matter of fact, I'll get that Nahum 3 and 1. Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city. This is the bloody city. All right, how was this place established? All right, I got a picture of Chief Joseph in my room, but how was he taken out? How was his people taken out? How were the Native Americans and Seminole Indians taken out? Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies. All right, this place is founded on lies. There's no freedom here. Even for you Edomites, there's no freedom here because that Constitution is a piece of paper. And when they declare martial law, they're not going to give a good goddamn about your Constitution and your rights. All right, because the elites, they don't give a damn about you average so-called white people as well. Have you figured that out by now? All right. And robbery, the prey departeth not. That prey is talking about the Israelites. All right. But this is a bloody city. So imagine people like this, which is going to happen. Okay? Because I'm going to get to this article. I'll keep going to this article, The Coming New World Order. Now, something just came to me through the spirit. You had that foreign dude, all right, up in Belfast, stabbing that person. Well, hey, these people already set up in your neighborhoods all across America, these so-called sleeper cells. So this is from the Coming NWO from Dr. Day. This is written probably like 3 decades ago, somewhere in the 90s, but it's on point, all right? You got to take the meat from the bones from these insider articles, all right? But it says, because of the NWO understands that foreign troops will be far more ruthless with Americans than would our own troops. Like when you saw what happened in New York. The New York City police is not going to interrupt when all hell breaks loose, man. They're going to be fending for their lives. American military personnel have been sent all over the world fighting battles. Other than that, fighting battles in Iran right now, Ukraine, the South China Sea. It's just like ancient Rome. The United States is spread all over militarily wise. The value of the money is going down, just like in Rome, the ancient denarius, that devalued. Now here in America, you know, they're not going to be printing pennies anymore. You got to round it. You got to round up and down the next 5 cents. So the same thing. There's no new thing under the sun. This is the revision of the Roman Empire, man. The scriptures talk about the deadly wound being healed, man. All right. The United States military is spread thin as well. So you really think they're gonna have, you see these guys at the football game. Thank you for your service, and they got the full gear on during the Super Bowl. Do you think a patriotic guy like that who fought for his country is going to knock his citizens upside the head? No, they already know that. So it says American military personnel have been sent all over the world fighting battles and losing their lives just so the elitists, the workers of iniquity in Psalm 64, can take over the natural resources of every country on earth. Thus, the foreign troops already stationed on American bases, and this is in the 90s, this had to be in the 2000s, are ready to swing into action to control and enslave Americans. So that's what's coming down the pipeline. They're gonna have guys that don't speak English. They speak Arabic, Swahili, Farsi, any type of language known to man. And they're out here. They're already set up. They're probably somewhere right now at Starbucks are getting intel on you people, man. They know you people don't pay attention. All right. They probably looking at TikTok and seeing all these dumbass challenges you people do. Meanwhile, they getting ready to knock people upside their head. And that's what came to mind with this immigrant that so-called stabbed somebody in Belfast, man. All right. It says a second letter from the Department of Army is a partial list showing which foreign troops will guard and control the various states in America. The tentative plan for the control of citizens of California will be by foreign troops from the Ukraine and Russia. Which, hey man, if you haven't been paying attention, man, when this war Ukraine situation started in 2022, it's a lot of people started coming from the Ukraine. These are refugees. Man, there was a guy in my old neighborhood. He drove this black Crown Vic, and wasn't nothing nice about this guy. I believe he was a sleeper cell, man. So this was coming down, man. The level of many shall wax cold. They're gonna sit in these sleeper cells. These foreign troops, when you really look at the research, they've been here since the end of the USSR, which is the Russian Federation. And that disbanded in Let me see, 1922 to 1991. I would say the mid 90s. When you really look up the articles, all right, both of these governments, Babylon and Russia, they were doing joint military exercise drills, all right, in some states, but they don't want to tell you that. Okay, so let me get that precept. Close it on now. This is Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, you descendants of Jacob on your father's side are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as your Israelite foreigners. You know, I've been seeing with this little Jake that got shot by that Moabite. You got some Asians that'll be like, this is, he'll be talking in the behalf of Jake. It was this one Jake. He looked like he was Asian, but he had the buffs on. He had like tattoos over his neck. He had, but you could tell he was an Israelite, man. You could tell he was an Israelite foreigner. This message is for you. All right, it's our time to wake out of sleep, man. And then we're in that time where the Israelite foreigners are going to start waking up and getting the word, man. All right, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob's trouble is not only going to affect the descendants of Jacob, you Israelites, but all the 18 nations, man. All these people that want to stay here. I kind of live in a city where it's just a lot of heathens, bro. And I'll be thinking, like, why don't you go back to where you came from? Do you not see the imminent danger? But as long as you can make money here and send it back to another country, and you can eat 24/7, you can drink 24/7 until the time being. Richard Pryor spoke on that in a comedy skit. Hey, man, it's looking good for these so-called foreigners, man. They got these businesses where they can make money off Jake. They can set up shop in the black neighborhood, but that time is coming, man, where you're going to get thrust through, all right, if you keep on staying here. All right, because salvation is only for the nation of Israel. Those chairs are coming for the elect of the nation of Israel, not any other nation. Now, like I said, some of you could be Israelite foreigners, man. All right? It says, but he shall be saved out of it. The elect shall be saved out of it. In these trying times. So there's going to be more uproars of the people. All right? More commotions, more disturbances, more instability. All right? This is just another example. All right? So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, and I'm going to say shalom.